What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. This right here is my HHO dry cell generator system that I put together. So I put this in a marketplace a couple days ago and this thing absolutely blew up. People were wanting videos of this thing working, so I decided I'm going to make a video, show it working, show it cutting different materials, and then just send them the link. So this, if you're from Facebook, this is what this video is about. So the way this cell works is what's called a dry cell generator, and basically it's two pieces of acrylic, well, not acrylic, it's ABS. Most of them are made of acrylic. This is made of ABS. Two pieces sandwiching 21 plates in here, and each plate is separated by about an 1/8 inch piece of rubber. And I will put a picture of what's inside the cell right up here. Basically it has 3 holes in it, and then water passes through it. And then I have my reservoir up here, which is full of distilled water and these potassium hydroxide flakes. Basically, it's just potassium hydroxide, 90% pure caustic potash, KOH. And it feeds from the bottom of the reservoir into the bottom of the cell, and then by gravity it fills the entire cell up. Each plate gets full of water. And then you have the other connection on the top here running to the side of the reservoir up here. And then you have 12 volts, or 18 volts, or 24 volts, whatever you're running the cell on, hooked to these two pegs right here. One of them positive power supplies one outside plate, and then one plate a little towards the center here. And then the negative right here supplies this plate and this plate. This is called neutral plates, and I'm not going to go into exactly how it works, but it's pretty neat how it works. And if you want to know how neutral plates work, just Google it, research it, YouTube it. There's tons of videos out there explaining a lot better than I could explain it, how neutral plates work. But it's really neat how it splits 12 volts into 2 volts per plate, effectively. So basically 12 volts gets applied, across the water happens, then the hydrogen and oxygen gases rise to the top, then get pushed out at the top where this elbow is coming out right here, then gets fed up with water also in the cell, with hydrogen bubbles and water go through this tube and dump into the reservoir. Water dumps back in the reservoir, gas flows up to the top, comes out this elbow right here, which goes down to my primary bubbler. And this bubbler right here is just a 2-inch piece of PVC pipe full of water. Then the hydrogen gas, you can see the water level right there. It pushes the water up, bubbles through this bubbler. Basically just kind of cleans it, purifies it, and makes it so no sparks get back into this reservoir in case something happens, because that's a decent amount of hydrogen gas in this reservoir that would be very, very bad if it ever exploded. So it comes out here, and then goes over to here, which then goes into my secondary bubbler, also known as my flashback arrestor. This is nothing more than a 1/2 inch inside diameter piece of PVC pipe, and I've just threaded in 2 hose barbs, one at the top, one at the bottom, filled it to around here. I found is level before it starts bubbling out of water, and it comes out of here and goes to my torch candle. So basically hydrogen gas gets produced, goes to the bubbler, cleans it, and keeps any sparks away from this reservoir in case this one fails. Then it goes to the secondary bubbler, which acts as a flashback arrestor. And I could sit here, unplug this hose off the torch handle. I could sit here with a lighter and light this thing all day long. And it would just keep snapping back into this pipe, and then never go any farther than that, unless the water level gets really low, which it really should never get low unless it really flashbacks a lot and water does pump out the top of it. But as long as there's a water level in this tube right down here, you're fine. And the most that will happen is it'll blow up like that much hydrogen, and that's enough to make a little pop, and that's about it. And the worst case scenario is this hose is not pressed on very tight, so if in the case of a flashback, a big flashback, pops off. And then your hose just lays on the table then, and nothing blows up. At least that's how it should work. And I've never had it fail. I've blown it up many, many times, and it's never failed. So that's basically, in a nutshell, how this setup works. Now in the future I will be building wet cell designs, which are like this, except this whole cell is not having a water pump through it. It's just sitting like inside of a container with the plates, so then the 2 outputs, the 2 connections on top, and then the hose barb at the top. I'm currently working on 2 of the systems right now as soon as I get all my parts shipped here. But for right now, this is the dry cell, that's how it works. And basically, let's go ahead and fire it up. I'm running a 6 amp battery charger booster. I just have it set to 6 volts right there. It's a 12 volt booster, but it's also a 6 volt booster. I have it hooked to also in series to this 12-volt heavy-duty agricultural, like 1,000 amp cold cranking amp battery, which will last me like days. So basically, you just hook these two jumpers, one up to the positive, other than the black up to the negative. And right now I just have this wired so it's straight to the battery charger. It's only on 12 volts in the battery charger. This battery is out of the picture. So when I flip the switch over here, you can watch and see what happens in here. So, see the hydrogen and oxygen bubbles are traveling with the water, are getting pumped into the reservoir. Then you can kind of see that, but that's liquid water and potassium hydroxide flowing into the bottom of the cell. Then basically it's a self-revolving pump. It's really neat how it works. Then the hydrogen gets dumped in here. You can see it bubbling there. Comes out here. Then you can see it bubbling there a little bit. And if you listen, I think that was a microphone. You can hear this gas come out of here. Now this right here, I'm going to light this for you guys, is impressive. But, you know, that's like a, I don't know, 2.5, 3 inch flame, something like that. It's hot, don't get me wrong. I mean, that's very, very hot. And you'll, you know, just a second here, let me get my pliers and grab this little nail head right here. Just a few seconds holding it, and the flames gets this thing like to the point where I'm a little scared right now that those sparks are going to fall on me and I'm going to get burned. But yeah, so and then turn it off. You simply turn this valve off quickly, which I will do right now. So that was only on 12 volts, and then we hook it up 18 volts, the production kicks up dramatically, and this flame is sitting about to here, and it just burns through almost anything. So I'll go ahead and hook this up to 18 volts, then we'll start trying to cut like a fire extinguisher. Got a couple Coke cans, piece of sheet metal. Now what I'm interested about is empty CO2 cartridge. What will it do? I should grab a full one, but that would be kind of stupid. So let's try an empty one first, and then let's just see what this can actually cut, because I really haven't tried it too much. I also have some high-grade strips of stainless steel that I'm using for my next project. We'll see if we can cut them or at least melt them. So let's do it. Alright guys, this is now hooked up to 6 volts here, 6 volt boost, and 12 volt deep cycle battery. So you can see it's already running just off the power that's running through the whole system, which is not. If I unplug this, it shuts off. But let's go ahead and flip the switch, and you can see the massive production on 18 volts. So much so, that's even forcing out the bottom of the cell, water out of the bottom of the cell, until it catches itself here in a second. There we go. And then now it's forcing clean water back into the cell. On this side, you ran out of water. So you can see the massive amount of hydrogen that's putting out. You can see the bubbler going crazy, or the reservoir on the bubbler down here is really taking off. And then you can even hear, I mean, the increased production is insane. So let's go ahead and light this one off just to make a little bit bigger of a snap. And now I'll turn the lights off here. That is a pretty impressive flame. Let's get that black background there. I mean, here's, well, let's see here. It's a very long flame. So let's go ahead and see how long it takes to melt down one of these heads now. That is completely toast. Alright, so now let's go ahead, take a piece of sheet metal here. Alright, let's try cutting this piece of sheet metal here and see how long it takes to chop through this. but it didn't really cut too much, but you can see it definitely got it glowing red. If I come over here to this piece over here, I was cutting it earlier with it. There we go. Now it's slicing right through it. There we go. Yeah, that is a very, very hot flame. I mean, it just melted that completely. So now, let's go ahead and try the Coke can here and see how well it just pulverizes to this. We'll cut to the rim here. Yeah. Oh. Okay, something happened there. I'm not sure. That was interesting. All right, let's go ahead and try cutting, not cutting, but heating up the CO2 cartridge tip here. Just for a quick check, we're drawing right under 40 amps doing this. Okay, that's a little one. But it cuts that, it deformed it greatly. Alright, so now we're going to take these two wire nails right here, identical wire nails. We're going to heat one up with the propane torch, a standard propane torch, and the flame. And then we're going to take our hydrogen torch and heat it up in the flame. I'll show you the difference. Take a long time to get warmed up and get to glowing. Frankly, I don't think it's going to. I've done this in the past where it's never gotten to glowing. Let's try the hydrogen part. That's a big difference. Even melted my pliers a little bit. Yeah, that's a dramatic difference from what that thing can do. This thing is super hot. Alright guys, next we're going to try cutting this piece of 304 stainless steel, about, I don't know, 16 gauge, 20 gauge, something like that. So, let's go ahead and heat the tip of it up here and see what we can do. Alright, well, that's a good 30 seconds or more of heat to this. It got like glowing red, but it wasn't quite enough to cut through it. Let's go ahead and try this fire extinguisher, because it seems fitting that this fire extinguisher goes out with fire. Let the aluminum absorb the heat for a bit. Okay, well, I'm not terribly surprised, but that is some fairly thick aluminum, and it just takes the heat away too fast. Even though this is a 6,000 degree flame, it just takes it way too fast. But Coke cans are sure fun to burn holes in, that's for sure. Anyway, ooh, the little tip on the top. Oh, that is fun. Anyway, that is my 6,000 degree HHO water torch. So, that was the video you all requested of this thing in action, what it can really do. It can't do really thick steel. It can do like sheet metal, no problem, nails, no problem, Coke cans, no problem, like soldering or brazing copper pipe or anything like that would definitely be not a problem. But if you want to actually get into like actual cutting stuff, it's not going to be that great of a torch for you. And even like this right here, wow, it's still even warm down here still. It absorbed a lot of heat. This is pretty thick aluminum. It just absorbed too much. If I would have held on there for a really long time, I think it would have burned through, because it's obviously hotter than the melting point of aluminum. But it just absorbs so much heat because it's so thick that it just can't heat it up fast enough. Now my next cell will definitely be about twice the size, not in size form, but twice the output. So it should be a much hotter flame. So keep an eye on my Facebook page for that in the future. But so far I've been working on hydrogen, or HHO as it's called, for about the past 5 years, ever since I was around 12. I saw a video of it, the Kino Random put the video out. I've been intrigued with that ever since, and I just love hydrogen. And now I finally have the resources and materials to build setups like this and to experiment with it. And so far I've been really impressed, beyond impressed I could say, of what hydrogen can do, how powerful it is. You can use the setup to blow up balloons, let them go in the sky. You can have very explosive birthday parties if you're into that kind of thing. But this thing is a lot of fun, and whoever gets this will definitely have fun with it, and I will be building a better cell to hopefully sell in the future. But my goal at the end of all this is to hook it up to a generator, which the generator runs the 110 and 240 volt part of the generator to power your house. Then it runs the alternator to charge up the batteries that are powering this. So it's kind of a self-sustaining cycle, but it will be using water as the fuel, so it's not really free energy. But it's technically free because, I mean, this stuff's what, like 10 bucks, 12 bucks a container, and distilled water is, you know, like $1 or $2 per gallon. So I mean, it's in this thing. I've been running this thing for, that's where the water started, water level started. I've been running this thing for like the past couple of weeks, every now and then, and it's only gone down to there. So I mean, this thing does not burn that much water, and especially, of course, a bigger cell will burn a little bit more water, but it's not much water at all. So this thing is basically free to run if I can get it figured out to power a generator and then charge battery back up again. Nobody's really done it in the past. They run it off of cells like this that are hooked to the outlet. I run this four-wheeler 100% on it, and actually hooked 2 batteries on this machine and taken it out and rode it around our driveway a couple times before the battery went dead. Well, not that battery, but the other battery had hooked to it. And yeah, I mean, it's a totally feasible option, but it just needs it needs to be able to power itself, and then power an alternator to charge the battery back up again to power the cell, which powers the engine. So that's what I'm working on currently, trying to come up with that system to get our family off the grid and my neighbor's family off the grid. Then we're building cells to sell for, I don't want to make a profit here. I just want to help people get off the grid and live a cleaner, more green lifestyle. So not about not burning gas and diesel. When I want to get off the grid, I want to get it to where I don't have to pay for fossil fuels, basically. I want to be self-sufficient is what I want to do. But this is my setup. I was running just for a recap here, 6 volts boost mode on the charger, 12 volt deep cycle battery going into the reservoir cell bubbler, secondary bubbler over there, and then going out to a 0.030 big welding torch tip here, if you want to know the exact size of that orifice. And then just a simple on-off valve for the fuel. And in the future, I would like to get a PWM set up so you can adjust the length and heat of your flame just by turning a dial. I don't have this set up on this yet, but in the future setup, in the future systems, I will. But yeah, this has been my experience with hydrogen. So far, I've loved it a lot, and I believe hydrogen is the future. I mean, I've been really impressed with what it can do, and it continues to impress me every day I play with it. So it's made a huge impact in my life, hopefully make an impact on your life, and happy Easter, everyone. Hope you all have a happy and safe Easter. Stay well, everyone. Thanks for watching.